After the Yankees exploded for 13 runs in Game 1 of the series, it is time for Game 2 between the Yankees and the Athletics with Gerrit Cole on the mound. Yankees going for 5 straight. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is Yankees Game Night. How's it going, everybody? Hope you are having a nice beginning to your weekend. It is 12:33 a.m. on Saturday morning in the East. Thank you to those night owls who are staying up for this live stream. I'll try and keep it concise so that you can get to bed. Let's start with some good news from the farm. Anthony Volpe hammered his 18th home run of the season tonight. He continues to be impressive. Yankees' top prospect. Also, they mentioned on the broadcast tonight that Clay Holmes threw a live batting practice session, and apparently Aaron Boone said that his sinker is back and he was locating it and he feels good. So we'll see how that plays up. But if he is what he was earlier in this season, that's a game changer. You saw tonight kind of a tightrope in that bullpen without a dominant pitcher like Holmes. More positive news, Houston, Tampa Bay, and Toronto all lost tonight. So the Yankees pick up some ground. That's 5 straight wins, and it appears like the Yankees have turned it around, folks. Now, I know that the A's are not like some juggernaut that you need to be, really that worried about. But you can only play who's in front of you, and they won 2 games against the Mets. They won against Manoah and the Blue Jays. So 5 straight. Let's hear it for the Yankees. Headed in the right direction. Let me get your votes for the belt. Obviously, some good candidates tonight. I put the top 3 performers on the screen. Judge, 3-run home run tonight. Gerrit Cole, 7 good innings. And Oswaldo Cabrera made a nice play in the outfield and had 3 more hits. He continues to be impressive. Interesting pitching matchup tonight. J.P. Sears on the mound for Oakland. Former Yankees prospect. You might remember he was traded to Oakland as part of the Frankie Montas deal. He did a really nice job. He continues to be impressive to me. Reminds me a little bit of Scott Kazmir when I watch him, and he was a very good pitcher. Gerrit Cole on the mound for the Yankees, and you really expect him to dominate the Oakland Athletics. And tonight he did just that. He was using the slider more than usual, and it was effective. It had a nice hard break. He kept the ball out of the middle of the plate for the most part. 5 strikeouts through the first 2 innings, so you knew he was going to have a good night. Top 3, the Yankees got a leadoff triple from the Wizard of Oz, Oswaldo Cabrera. Really nice piece of hitting and surprising opposite field power from him. And he, I think, took all of his at-bats from the right side tonight, all 4 at-bats, and all 3 of his hits were from the right side. And we've heard that his right-handed swing is not his stronger side. It doesn't look like it has as much lift as his left-handed swing, but he was hitting line drives tonight, so you'll take that every night of the week. Unfortunately, though, the Yankees couldn't push him across. Really nice defensive play by Gleyber Torres in the bottom half of the third. Top 5, Oswaldo with another base hit to lead off the inning. DJ followed up with a single of his own. And then, Mr. Aaron Judge.
That ball is high. It is far. It is gone.
200th home run of the season for the Yankees. Number 49 on the season for Aaron Judge. It accounted for all 3 Yankees runs tonight. Seeing a lot of votes for him for the belt. Also seeing some votes for Cole, though. Top 6, Oswaldo picked up his 3rd hit of the game. 2nd consecutive 3-hit night for him. But then He got picked off. I mean, you know, it happens. It happens. Athletics finally got on the board with a solo home run in the bottom of the 7th. That made it 3-1. Top 8, Jose Trevino got hit by a pitch on the left foot. I wrote left foot in my notes, but it was his left foot. And he was in a lot of pain. He was hopping up and down, using the bat as kind of a crutch. Ended up staying in the game, but came out in the 9th inning for Higashioka. Garrett Cole was done after 7 1/3. Final line, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. Nice job by Garrett Cole. Jonathan Loaizaga got through the 8th inning. Really nice job by him as well. And Wandy Peralta came in for the 9th. He allowed a double, followed by a single to make it 3-2. But ultimately, he finished it off with a really good changeup in the dirt. Take it away, John Sterling, for the 5th time in a row.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees win. You're a winner.
All right, well, we didn't do a poll tonight. It was a late night. It was close. I didn't want to jinx it. I don't really believe in jinxes, but there's been a couple of times this season where I've put up a belt poll for, hey, Yankees are winning. They're up by 3 in the 9th. They're up by 2 in the 9th, whatever. Make your votes, and they've blown it. So I've been trying to wait till the game is over, and tonight it's just so late, I figured we'd just do a hashtag vote or vote in the comments. And it looks like we have a winner. Surprise, surprise, Mr. Judge.
Let's go. Bet winner.
Excellent performance by him. He is now 1 swing away from 50. You might remember if you watched the series preview that I put up yesterday, one of the Nostraderic predictions was that he would get to 50 home runs in this series, and the other prediction was that Oswaldo Cabrera would hit his first Major League home run. Now, Cabrera is tearing the cover off the ball, but has yet to go deep. Dr. Van Nostrand says, I called that Judge homer right before he came to the plate. Well, you get a round of applause then, my friend. Chris Mack says Oswaldo was money tonight, too. He made a really nice running catch in right field as well. That pitch by J.P. Sears, we're watching it on the replay now. 79 miles an hour right down the middle of the plate. And Judge knew what to do with it. That was absolutely hammered. You could tell from J.P. Sears' reaction that he knew it was gone right away. And then Cole actually served up a solo home run on a hanging breaking ball. Only run of the night that he allowed. This was a big strikeout from Loaizaga, the sinker down and in at 99. His stuff has looked better recently. Joey Ballgame says, what do you think of the kid with 3 hits? I mean, I got to say, I'm just super impressed with Cabrera. He looks like he's been in the major leagues for 5 years. You know? That's one of the benefits that I think you get with the Yankees waiting an extra year or two on a lot of their prospects to call them up, is they seem to be a bit more, I guess, battle-tested. They don't seem bothered as much by the pressure. I mean, even guys like J.P. Sears, you know, pitching for Oakland now, but he came up and he looked ready. And I got to say, I've been impressed with what he's done. Let's go ahead and take a look at the box score for tonight's game. Garrett Cole, as you see, gets his 10th win of the season. Yankees have reached 30 games over 500 once again. Did you hear that the Dodgers are now 50 games over 500? I feel like that should be the Yankees after the start they had, but miserable August, when you start off August 4-14, that tends to disrupt your record a little bit. DJ, 1 for 5 tonight. Aaron Judge, 1 for 3 with the 3-run jack and 3 walks. So the OPS continues to climb, 1.062 on the season. Stanton took the collar tonight, 0 for 4. He said in an interview that he's a timing hitter, and that's why sometimes it takes him a couple of days to come back. Now, he had a base hit last night early on, smoked it. I thought he had some good swings tonight. He fouled a couple of balls off that I thought were just barely missed. One of the things you can tell with hitters, and this is more for the baseball novices, I'm sure that a lot of the seasoned fans know this because they mention it all the time. If a hitter fouls a ball directly backwards, like I'm not talking about a high pop-up, but a line drive right behind him off the screen, that means they just missed it. Even a foul directly backwards is missed it, but not quite, as close. Stanton fouled off some balls tonight that I thought he would typically hammer when he's right. So hopefully he'll come around soon. Torres 1 for 5 tonight, hitting .246, continues to kind of be up and down. Donaldson 1 for 2, continues to swing the bat well in Oakland. 2 walks on the night. Benintendi 1 for 4. I think it's interesting they dropped him down to the number 6 spot. He's been hitting leadoff and doing such a great job at the leadoff spot. I think that was my biggest complaint. But against a lefty, J.P. Sears, who, by the way, loses for the first time in the major leagues tonight. He's got 2.28 ERA. I can understand. I can understand wanting to stack the righties. The Yankees know him as well as anybody, who he struggles against. And he might have told them, hey, I don't like pitching to righties. Who knows? But he was batting 6th, and he goes 1 for 4. Trevino 1 for 3 tonight. And Higashioka came in for defense, and Oswaldo Cabrera now hitting .286 with 3 hits tonight and 4 at-bats, and he makes contact. You gotta like that. Garrett Cole picks up win number 10. His ERA sits at 3.31. Very solid season for Garrett Cole. Loizaga goes 2/3 of an inning, gets a strikeout. We saw the fastball sinking down and in tonight like we're used to from him. And he was up to 99, and Peralta gives up a run, but picks up his 3rd save of the year. Yankees win this one. Lori C says 500 in the chat. Hit the like button. Appreciate the mods staying up to help us out here on a night where I'm sure they want to go to bed. Look, a lot of people hate West Coast games, and I don't love West Coast games because I just don't like to stay up till 2 in the morning, but it is kind of nice because the whole house gets quiet. The wife goes to bed around, 10 or 11 usually. She's a teacher, so she gets up early. And usually the dogs go to bed around the same time. And so it's nice and quiet. It's just me and my cat Joba. And it's easy to stay locked in when the house is this quiet. Orlando Rodriguez brings up a funny story that you missed if you didn't watch the game. Lou Trevino was warming up in the bullpen, and he was wearing number 50. Now, why is that odd? Well, he wears number 56. And in case you're wondering, Jameson Taillon wears number 50. Jameson Taillon pitched yesterday. So I think it's just one of those cases where the wrong jersey was in the locker, and 56 can, I guess, kind of look like 50 if you're just kind of glancing. Your brain kind of fills in the gaps a lot of times. I saw some study where if you rearrange the letters in words, in every word in a sentence, but you leave the first and the last letter, people can read the sentence fine. So your brain just kind of fills in the gaps. And that must be what happened. I mean, they weren't trying to deke anybody out, and I'm sure he didn't, pull a Ruben Rivera and steal the jersey. Does anybody remember that? When Ruben Rivera stole Derek Jeter's glove? Crazy. Ruben Rivera is Mariano Rivera's cousin. And Ruben Rivera was a Yankees prospect. He was also kind of called the next Mickey Mantle. This was back in 1995. He ended up being traded for Yankees legend Hideki Irabu. Really, he was traded for the rights to negotiate with Irabu. This was in the spring of 97. Ended up, he was a big prospect. He ended up having some decent power, never hit for much contact. Went out west, and there's a great clip of him having what I believe John Miller, the announcer, called the worst base running in the history of baseball. I'm sure you guys can find it. Frankie Baseball says 21st belt of the year for Aaron Judge.
That's me and his man.
All right, sorry, 21st belt of Judge's career, 12th of the season. That seems low. I guess he's been spreading it out. Douglas Real says, doesn't work until 10, so he usually gets to see the West Coast games. I've had a couple of night shifts in my life. That's tough. When I was in college, I worked as the desk receptionist for my dorm, and I would have to work the 4 to 7 a.m. shift. And then I had an 8 a.m. class, right? So I was that guy who would go to bed at 9, 10 o'clock in college. It was, not cool. Renair Ballesteros says 10-plus win streak coming. I would love it. That would be fantastic. We'll take it. Catherine Soros says, kept saying to my brother, nobody noticed? I guess not. I appreciate the donut, by the way. I mean, how often do you really look at the other players on the team's jerseys? I mean, these are your friends, your buddies, so you're talking to them in the face. It was the announcers who noticed. Really, he was already through his warm-ups by the time that he had to change. Joe Higashi says, Wandy will leave your heart pounding. You're not wrong. Alrighty. Frankie Baseball says, only night shift I know is Michael Keaton. Is that a Michael Keaton movie or something? I don't know. Or are you talking about how he was Batman? AV says, win streak fire thing. So I tried to put it up, but I recently cleaned out one of the folders on my computer that draws from that, and I accidentally deleted it, so I'm going to have to redo it. If we win tomorrow, or actually I'm not going to be on tomorrow, but if we win Sunday, I'll have it up. Frankie says, how'd you get the rights to Won't Get Fooled Again? Well, you can only use like a second or two before it triggers, but I also masked it. I put some reverb on it and added a ding. Let's hear it one more time. Prime Ghost wants to make Paul O'Neill a batting coach. I feel like I've heard that a few times this year, and we always mention that, he doesn't even travel to the stadium for the Yes Network games because he's not vaccinated. He stays at home, and so I can't imagine that he would accept that position. Also, he's like, he talks about his wife Nellie constantly in the broadcast. He's just one of those guys who married his high school sweetheart, met his soulmate, and doesn't want to leave, ever. So I would be really surprised to ever see him be a manager or a hitting coach at any point. Hey, we got 560 people, 573 now, on at 12:50 in the morning on the East. So round of applause to you guys. These are the Night Owls. Frankie says, I name-dropped a movie that Derek didn't know. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a movie buff, but I'd never heard of that one. Laura V says, I think Trevino is okay. Sounds like just a bruise. I'm not a doctor, so I'll take your word from it. I haven't heard anything other than that he came out of the game. It looked to me like the Matt Carpenter thing wasn't serious, but he got hit in the same area, and I guess all that grounding didn't help because bone is broken. Hopefully we get him back soon. Let's see here. Aaron Richter says, Toronto, Tampa, and Houston all lost, so we gained some ground in the division. Yeah, we mentioned that at the top of the show. Obviously, 8.5 games with about 5 weeks left is a pretty good, pretty sizable, pretty comfortable lead, but it is by no means insurmountable. The Yankees cannot let their foot off the gas. That's why it's important, I think, right now to run up the score a little bit against the A's and the Angels. Now, I don't mean run up the score in terms of how many runs you put up, although that would be nice. Last night was a ton of fun, 20 hits. But I mean win, 6 out of 7, 7 out of 7 on this trip, something like that. If you head back home and you got a 9 or 10 game lead and you've got your last West Coast trip out of the way, I feel like you're in good shape. Let's see here. Kevin Windsor says, Cabrera is the man.
Absolutely. Hey.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Wompbag Doodle says, O'Neill has a comfortable job. Yeah, it's...
baby.
I think it was Jim Cott who said, just collect the paychecks and never tell them how easy it is. I love that. Jim Cott was such a great... He just retired, but one of my favorite announcers of all time. I could listen to him talk pitching for hours. Kyman says, start spreading the news. Magic number 29. Yeah, we're starting to talk about magic numbers. So for those of you who are new to the game of baseball, I know some of you are, magic number is the number of wins and losses by the second place team that would equal a division win. So any combination of Yankees wins and Rays losses that equals 29 means the Yankees would be division champs. Let's see here. Sehaj Doshi says, where does Bader fit on this team? You know, that's a really good question. Right now, Bader's on the IL with the foot thing, plantar fasciitis. And look, the way Oswaldo Cabrera is playing right now, you've got to get him in the lineup every night. He's hitting. He's playing great defense. I mean, he's already got like 5 or 6 runs saved in the outfield. Stole a home run. Threw out a guy at home plate. He's running down everything. He looks comfortable. Hits the cutoff man when necessary. Takes good routes. So, you know, if the Yankees are comfortable putting him out there, I'm comfortable with it. And that means you put Judge in center. And you put Benintendi in left. And that's probably your best offensive outfield right now. I don't want Stanton playing the outfield because, let's face it, the guy has gotten hurt a couple of times this year. He's been on the IL a couple of times. Aaron Boone says that he's going to initially DH, but eventually they'd like to put him out in the outfield. I think I would just DH him the rest of the way. I want his bat healthy for the playoffs. Just get me Giancarlo's bat healthy and the timing down by the playoffs and let him go to work. That's all I'm really looking for from Giancarlo. But you're right, with Bader, who is really a defensive replacement, I think maybe late in the game, if you get a lead, maybe you take Cabrera out or you move Cabrera to second for Glaber if you've got DJ playing third or something like that. But then you put in Bader for center field, shift over Judge to right field. You know, to me, I know Cabrera's only been on the team for a week or so, but I feel like he's a guy who can help us in the postseason. I mean, you're seeing right now on the highlights from the batting order, I mean, he can play shortstop, he can play third base, he can play second base, he can play right field, and apparently he played left field once in the minor leagues. So, all right, let's watch through the highlights one more time. Yankees in Oakland. Garrett Cole was on the mound and bringing it early. Gets the call on the outside fastball, 95. This one was off the plate. Nice frame job by Trevino. This is a slider down and in. He had that pitch working all night. That was for a swing and a miss. Here's another slider down in the zone over the heart of the plate, but had enough bite to get the miss. Here is Oswaldo. This is going to be a triple to right field. Probably a home run at Yankee Stadium. If we were at Yankee Stadium, he'd have home runs from both sides of the plate in 2 consecutive games, or one each game. Here's the home run by Judge, number 49 on the season. Right down the middle, and Sears knew it. And the dugout knew it. And then this is the hanging breaking ball from Garrett Cole. Hit out of the ballpark. But Loaizaga comes in and gets out of the jam, and the Yankees win this one.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees win. You're a winner.
Kevin Windsor with some positive news to end up with tonight. Boone says that Trevino got x-rays on his foot, and they were negative. Thank the Lord. All right, guys, we are going to call it a night. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll be back on Sunday at some point. Tomorrow's a no-go. Got plans with my buddy, but, I use the West Coast to take some time off. It's a long season, and after we get back from the West Coast trip, we're going to go through and have a post-game show for every game for the rest of the season, weekends or not, as we do the pennant race all the way through the playoffs, and we might do a watch party or two in the playoffs too. So stay tuned for all that. I thank you very much. See you when I see you.